All right, thanks for everybody for joining our Tekmetric and Auto Text Me webinar. Today we're going to highlight how the two systems work together. We have two cloud-based pieces of software that work very well in the auto repair industry, and we're going to have Craig highlight how these two pieces work together. Before we do that, I want to introduce our panel. We have Sunil from Tekmetric. Sunil, thank you for joining us. We also have from the Auto Text Me team, we have Daryl, Scott, and Craig. Craig will be the one that will be driving. Craig is our head trainer for Auto Text Me. And before we do that though, Sunil, if you would, give us a couple quick elevator pitch on Tekmetric.
Sure, Chris. So thanks for joining this webinar, guys. So Tekmetric is a cloud-based shop management system that essentially allows you to operate all of the general day-to-day stuff in your shop, ordering parts, looking up part prices, costs, using parts matrices and so forth, reporting on your shop, tracking where all your marketing dollars are being spent and so forth. And then we have a great integration with Auto Text Me, which does a fantastic job on the digital video inspection side and the rewards management and so forth. And so I'd love, it's going to be a great webinar here that's going to be able to show you guys the true benefit of this level 6 integration, which is going to allow you to see in real time what happens when you do things on both sides.
Awesome. And you know what, Daniel, I didn't mean to leave you out too. We also have Daniel with Tekmetric, which today he's spelling his name Denal, which is very interesting. I love it.
That was my fault. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Craig was spelling his name Denal. That's cool. And before we hand it off to Craig, Scott, would you go ahead and give a little intro to Auto Text Me as well?
Absolutely. Auto Text Me, for those that are unaware, is also a cloud-based tool. We offer at our core level a workflow communication solution, digital vehicle inspection, digital work order, and a quality control process. We have add-ons for rewards and referrals, and a kiosk, check-in and scheduler kiosk as well.
Excellent. Thanks, Scott. And as Craig said at the top of the meeting, for anybody who just joined, if you do have any questions, please feel free during the webinar to ask those questions in chat. Depending on the importance of the question, Scott will be moderating, so he will either interrupt Craig or we will answer those questions for sure at the end. So feel free at any point in time to ask questions. And with that, Craig, take it away.
All right, thanks guys, and I appreciate everyone taking the time out of their busy days to do this. This is one of those tools that's very simple to use, right? And I could be talking about either one, which one, Auto Text Me or Tekmetric. I have found that Tekmetric is one of the easiest to learn of the management systems that I've learned as I teach integrations and the use of this software. So what I want to start with is adding a ticket to the page. One of the first things you're going to want to be able to do, and it's something that needs to be seamless for a true integration. And as you see, this is the active customer page in Auto Text Me. What we're going to do is we're going to go and show you the multitude of ways you can get tickets to transfer into this. Now, I'm going to go straight over to Tekmetric for this. We're going to go right into the demo shop, and we're going to filter this out. We're going to look at all the tickets for Daryl Fraley's our service advisor. So I'll be Daryl in Tekmetric here. Thanks, Daryl. And so what we're going to do first is I want to just show you how these things got here, and we're going to add a fresh one right out of the gate. You have a button right up here, create repair order, and we're going to add a new customer. We're going to add Justin for oil, and as his name suggests, he is just in for a lube oil filter. So we'll put that as our purpose of visit.
That's clever, Craig.
Yeah, thanks. So we're going to hit create repair order, and really that should be it. And we should be able to go back into Auto Text Me. We can refresh our page and we'll see Justin for oil is right there in check-in. Doesn't get much easier or quicker than that in our fast and dynamic shop workflows. So that's one guy. That's one way to add. There's a whole nother way to add, and that's by appointment. I've already done one here. You can see Russ Tinelay, a good one. He's got his Ford Explorer there as an appointment. This was actually done in Tekmetric. So if I go back into Tekmetric and I go into our appointment field, we should be able to find our guy. And yeah, look, there he is scheduled conveniently for this time. And we can go and we can turn this into a repair order right from here as well. We do have the full calendar sync with Tekmetric. So we create the repair order. We can enter the concern there. Yeah, we suspect wheel bearings for the umpteenth time on this 2002 Explorer. Create repair order. And now that will no longer be an appointment in Auto Text Me. as it see here, we go and refresh this, and it is now checked in as you would expect it to be. So very seamless interaction on there. You can also add the appointments. This appointment was added here when we created that in Tekmetric right through the calendar. It's all very instantaneous. Let me know if anyone has questions on ticket transfers. Feel free to type those questions to our guys here. There really isn't too much to ask. As you see, that was pretty straightforward. Tekmetric has a clean interface. There's lots of ways to add the tickets. They'll be there for you in Auto Text Me as well. Your customers can receive those text notifications as you expect in our system. For those unfamiliar with our system, that is one of those components. Is as they get added in, customers can be welcomed with an immediate text message. So that is basic data pull, right? We do get the vehicle information on that. Let's go take a look at one of these here. I've already added our customer Joe Paluca and Justin Froyle, right? So we can go into the DVI now. And the DVI is one of those really well integrated things that's going to be worth going to next, where a lot of people will have a lot of questions. We mentioned when we added Justin Froyle that he was in just for an LOF. And that is exactly the note that transfers in here for that technician. Once we go back in here to the main page, I want to show you a ticket that I have staged for this already. Joe Paluca was added in Tekmetric. You'll see him right over here. We've got Joe Paluca. It's sitting in requires authorization. We've already done some things on this, and I'm going to show you how to add and amend to it. The inspection has not been transferred in yet. So we're going to go back to the summary here, and I'm going to show you how to take an inspection that we have completed in the system and how it will appear in Tekmetric. Now, I'm not going to show you all the inner workings of Auto Text Me's DVI right now. Anyone interested in that, obviously, please feel free to reach out. Our guys will be able to put some links for training on those specific articles, all available on our website. Suffice it to say, we have a relatively complete inspection here. We can add some things to it if we need to. I'm going to just go ahead and mark this as complete and submit this, but I want to do this from a technician login because there's a specific reason for that. So we're going to log in as a technician named Leave It Off. Leave It Off. It's another name pun. So that's all for you there. And here's Joe Paluca. We go in here in the DVI. Now I did complete this inspection as this user earlier. I'm going to mark it as completed right now. And then once it's marked complete, I can go ahead and I can send it to the SMS with this button here. And this is going to go ahead and turn green for me here in just a second. There it is. And once we go back into Tekmetric, we can go now into our inspection tab. And here is all of our inspection data, notes, images, everything you expect to transfer in will be transferred in on this screen.
Craig, I have a question for you. So the history will be maintained in both Auto Text Me and Tekmetric?
So yeah, vehicle history is, now you're talking DVI history or vehicle history, because we have both, right? And I'll show you both. There's the work order history that we do pick up from other visits. We also have that vehicle history from Tekmetric on previous visits as well. And then the DVI history, this is a profoundly powerful feature in our system as well, where we go into sheets, we can see an entire change log. This history is saved all by click, all stored in the cloud for you to access at any time. So it is a key strength of our system to show you the granular details of each of these things. And then you also will have that right here in Tekmetric saved with your invoice. Yeah.
Excellent.
A little extra redundancy there on your data. And then you can use this however you need to build an estimate, right? So that's where I'm going to move to next. I want to just show you the estimate screen here in Tekmetric. I've already built this one up. I would love to go and spend more time showing you how easy it was for me to build this. I learned this by clicking through myself, deliberately wanted to learn things that way. I think anyone who tries out this system will agree with me. You can throw together some estimates very quickly here. And so I did build this based off of my inspection data. If we look at some of those key jobs that we had on the inspection, we had lube oil filter, we had a rattle over bumps, so we have sway bar links on this, and we have an air filter. Now with Tekmetric and Auto Text Me, we have something called status sync, and this is why we actually get to a level 6 integration I'll touch on momentarily. First things first, let's generate this work order, and then we'll show you how the various authorizations and stages of waiting on this ticket can be communicated to your team. Now, the work order is accessible for your technician anytime straight from the DVI page. I can go straight into that, and it will ask you, would you like to generate the work order from ticket number 3479 in Tekmetric? Yes is the answer to this question. And it will give us all of the parts and all of the labor exactly as you have it in Tekmetric. Assigned to our technician, ready to be clocked in. And there's another element too. We also have within the system, you can also go ahead and start marking parts as having arrived for your technician or not too. You can go back and you can then see that on that work order. Parts are here. And this allows you to then track your labor and efficiency as you have been. If you're a user of AutoTextMe joining us for this, this should all be very familiar to you and a simple way for you to continue to keep your work organized. Now, if you want to add work to that, that's totally okay. And I wanted to point out another thing. You can go add to your inspection and re-import that again. That's also okay. So you can continually amend these things. Once you've transferred this, you do want to go ahead and authorize the jobs in Tekmetric. I'm just going to approve all jobs on this. You can see how this approval feature works within their system. These guys would be more than happy to answer some questions on details of this later as well. I'm going to hit next, and I'm just going to say we received verbal approval for this one. Very common. And this one's all set. It's authorized. So Joe Paluca is now in a status of work not started. Work not started is mapped to AutoTextMe as another status here too. And that I have already preset on my workflow as an authorized status, right? So it automatically moved into that status for me when I completed that action. You have full customability of this. You can change your workflow however you want. The way the system works though, you also could technically, this technician, if I wanted to put this thing back into servicing or check-in, I could do that. I am also allowed to click on servicing. Servicing is mapped a little differently too. So by moving into servicing, and then we go back to our job board here and we'll see this. Now it's in progress here in Tekmetric. So what you just saw there, it seems very simple, but this is actually part of our level 6 integration where a status change in AutoTextMe will allow the status to be updated as well in Tekmetric. So you don't have to just do things one way or the other. It'll go both directions. With that being the case, we can now just take a look at this ticket. It's in servicing. We could go clock in and clock off on that. We can do whatever we need to. If there's any questions on the workflow status updates, let me know. I'm actually going to show you the next screen here back in our admin user. We're going to go ahead and sign in here, and we're going to go to workflow setup. I wanted to show you this screen for one specific reason. It's actually really easy to map these statuses with each other. Administrators, you can decide how you want your workflow to work. In AutoTextMe, you can have any status, right? It's one of the key advantages of our system. When you click on a status title here, you can tell it which Tekmetric label is supposed to be associated with it, right? So I don't have anything associated with my inspection status right here, but you can see I have the estimating statuses associated with requires authorization. So what I can actually do now, if I go back to this screen, if I wanted to take Joe Paluca and we have new work we need to add to that, if I have to move it back to estimating, you want to go backwards, I'll say okay. I can go back into Tekmetric and we'll refresh our page here. And where's Joe? He's in requires authorization right there.
Hey, Craig, we just had a question. Will the tech be able to move the status from authorized to servicing when they start a job?
Yes, actually, there's a couple of ways to do that. That is an excellent question. So one of the things that I like to do for this is I like to have an automated feature for that. So that is an option, and that's already toggled for me in this case. So really all your technician had to do would be to go into the actual work order for Joe Paluca. So he goes in here, and if he were to clock in on the job, I'm logged in as my administrator right now, so this won't happen. But ultimately, the way that works is as soon as he clocks in, it would automatically move to that servicing status as well. So there really isn't the necessity for him to click on that button, which he can do, but it can happen fully automated just by clocking in the job. You have that ability as an administrator to determine if your technician's even allowed to click on these statuses. Once the technician clocks in, it'll go to whatever status you have mapped for you. So hopefully I'll answer your question.
Excellent.
And I think that's a good point to bring up, Craig, that we do limit, if a shop wants to limit the statuses that they can click on. If a shop wants to control that from the front of the house, they certainly can. Or we can go the whole completely opposite direction and actually start automating the steps, as you pointed out, where a technician starts interacting actually with the form, and it'll move to the status.
Right. So I'm logged in as that technician again here. When I click on the work order here and I decide to clock in on one of these jobs, just by having clocked in on it, that automatically moved to that servicing status for me.
Nice.
Yep. And then that also will correspondingly update here in Tekmetric as well. So we'll go back and forth here on that. And Joe Pluga. It's in requires authorization right now from that estimating. I think now once we go back, I must have mapped that. But yeah, that'll update to a corresponding status there. I should look into how I mapped that for myself here. So that is Status Sync Level 6. We talked about the work order. These are the key high points that I wanted to touch on. What I'd like to know now is if anyone has any additional questions on something they haven't seen yet. If you'd like to see the resubmission of a DVI, I can show you that as well.
Craig, since you're on here, what about the mapping of technicians and service writers? Could you talk?
So this is actually a good point. And actually, I'll make one more markup here. I'm just going to add an image to my battery while I do this, because we can show two things at once on this. So once I take my bad battery here, we'll go ahead and send this node in. I'll say battery pass test, poor physical condition. We're gonna resubmit this form, and I'm gonna send it back into Tekmetric. Remember, we had completed this earlier. Let's say we had forgotten to do our battery test, I guess, in this case, and we're gonna reopen this ticket for Joe Palooka. We're gonna go into that inspection tab, and we should be able to go down, and we should find there's our battery in our node. Now on that technician mapping, this is based off of who signed off on that form. So I was logged in as leave it off the technician. And so that automatically attributes that technician properly in Tekmetric as having completed this vehicle. Similarly, the service advisor who created the ticket is automatically assigned to the ticket here as well. And you see Daryl Fraley is our service advisor in Tekmetric, Daryl's service advisor here, and that is automatically attributed. User mapping can be customized for yourselves from the screen in your admin menu. It's called Manage Users. All we need to do in Manage Users is tell the system what your name is in Tekmetric. So Daryl is Daryl, and that is his name. So that's what we call him for both, and it properly identifies him. It's really that simple.
Got another question, Craig. Will Tekmetric notify the service advisor if a tech submits a report as well, or only on auto text me?
No, that's a great question for Sunil or Dan or Prasanth.
Yeah, so Tekmetric will notify, on our end right now, when parts are received, Tekmetric will notify or has the ability to notify a technician. As far as service writers getting notified, anytime a job is approved, a message is sent to the service writer, and a text message is also sent to the service writer, and you can change whichever one you want in the employee settings of our system.
Excellent. And I apologize, I don't have multiple users set up to demonstrate how that works back and forth in Tekmetric right now, but these guys I'm sure would be happy to show you.
All right, we got another question, Craig. How many inspection sheets can I push to Tekmetric?
You know, that is a great question for Daryl.
Yes, good question. So with the auto text me inspection sheet, you can actually have multiple sheets per visit. Craig, if you could jump back into that. As inspections are completed, you can simply click that SMS button, and it will continue to send those inspections back into Tekmetric. So if you have a brake inspection, courtesy inspection, pre-road trip inspection, every single one you do, you can continually push back each one.
So you can push back multiple sheets, and you can refresh a sheet as well.
Yes, correct.
Excellent.
Yeah, so let's take a look here. We could, we'll just take a tire image just as a demonstration here. We'll call it bad. Give it a note. Yeah, sure. There we go. I'll mark this as a complete. Now I'm not a mapped user on this right now, so it'll probably assign it to the technician that's assigned to the ticket. We'll send that in. Yeah. So the technician isn't the same. Let me go into my actual technician for us here. The administrator shouldn't be doing those anyways.
Right.
Right. And let's go and now sign off on that. And we'll send it in. There it goes. And we'll go refresh this page, reopen it. There's our 15-point inspection assigned to Lee with the tire and all the notes. So submits that form in just as you would expect.
Can we message multiple people at the same time for a visit?
Absolutely. Actually, that's a really good question here. I'm going to go back into my administrator user for this one. Now that I'm taking this question specifically from Auto Text Me side, I'll let Sunil answer that on a client side from their system too. But with an Auto Text Me, you actually can send if you have a fleet and you want to send something to the driver and the fleet manager, that's okay to do. You can go into a customer profile and you can actually take that customer, you can add an existing client to that group. You can add additional phone numbers. There's multiple ways to do this, and you can have it send updates to both of those numbers. So if we wanted to do another number there, we can save this. Now we can actually go back here, and as we see that customer is now group textable, both numbers will be texted next time we do status updates, or when we type a one-off message in here. You can also silence each of those numbers as you need to for one-off messages between one party or the other as well. So it is definitely a form of group texting and keeping multiple parties up to date. Fleet and families, no problem.
So similar to what you guys just saw with Craig, we do have the ability to send messages to multiple people, just not at the same time currently. You'd have to send a message to a particular number in a customer profile and then send it again to the second number. We have the ability to store multiple numbers with tags on them, so you can put husband, wife, daughter, whatever, all the little tags pertaining to all the phone numbers in a customer.
Yeah, here's the customer info screen for Tekmetric. So I would be able to, I believe, just edit and add a phone number, and you can add multiple numbers here as well. And
you can use the drop-down menu, or you can erase the drop-down menu and just type whatever you want.
Ah, okay, very nice. Haha, very nice. Good to know. Thanks to know. I haven't played around in that screen that much yet, so that was helpful. Very good. All right. So I've covered all the high points, guys. If you think I missed anything, please let me know right now. I can hit on those. Otherwise, thanks everyone for their attention on this.
Scott, did you get that? Austin, I see, are the tech and service advisors are pushing this report to the SMS.
Oh yeah, there we go. Craig, are the tech or the service or the advisor pushing the report to the SMS?
So the report can be sent by either one, actually. As long as they're a mapped user in the system, I generally recommend it to be from the technician so that it shows that it's properly done by that technician in that system too. But yes, you can submit it. Any user can submit that report multiple times. Multiple users can submit the same sheet after signing off on it. It is based on when that sheet is signed off and by who. So once you start playing around with this too much here too, I'll have a very cluttered report completed by button. But it does track in our system as well who signed off on these sheets. And we mentioned earlier, we already have that change log there. Actually, I do encourage the only sign off to be by the technician because we already track everything else. We know when the administrator comes through and actually clicks on something. Yeah, here it is down here. There's our administrator, is the one who found that bad tire or that alignment, right? It's actually really sortable. You can quickly identify if the admin or some other user had something to say on this. Very, very fast history records. These are all stored in the cloud too, by the way, in case you guys haven't seen this before. If I wanted to look up Joe Paluca as a customer, I can look up part of his name. You can go view his profile. And we actually catalog everything per visit. So I've done a lot of test tickets with this customer very recently. But we do store the entire text conversation per visit as well. So you'll be able to recall and resend any inspection straight from the system. You don't have to go adding anything back into Tekmetric. And maybe you don't have to add anything back on your board in Tekmetric too. I'll let Sunil or Dan answer that as well. Yeah, you can do all this straight from history in our system too. I have not played with the Tekmetric history much.
Similar to that, you can pull things from history and you can add them to your current estimate, so it's a very similar flow.
Excellent.
With that, we're going to end the webinar. We will repost this for anybody who's interested in Tekmetric and AutoTextMe. I'll be posted here soon. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining. Craig, thank you for giving a fantastic demo. Daryl, thanks for your support, and Scott from AutoTextMe. And once again, we got Sunil, and Prasant has joined us from Tekmetric. If you would like to know more about either piece of software, please reach out to either company, and we'd be happy to give you a demo of either or. Thank you very much, everybody.